Hello everyone, myself Professor Sneha Vinod Dalvi. So today we are going to see experiment number 9 from the subject known as MPL, that is Microprocessor Lab, Sem 4. So today's aim of an experiment is write an assembly language program to check whether a given string is a palindrome or not. Okay, so what exactly the palindrome means if you're taking one string, reversing the string, both the strings should have same name, okay, except the middle one. Okay, so we'll see this with the help of an assembly language programming, as well as we are going to see the code, the explanation of each code, execution, and what are the expected things required for the standard output. Moving further, the experiment covering the LO is nothing but to develop an assembly language program using MASM for 8086 microprocessor, and level it will be of Bloom's taxonomy level 3. Moving towards program explanation, we are going to see the code of an example. Okay, we'll see some terminology which we are going to use in the assembly language programming, as well as the different concepts of registers, the all things we are going to understand in this particular experiment. Moving further, okay, so we are going to use term known as DB, where DB stands for data byte. It's nothing but a memory allocated to assign a specific space where you can execute the program. Okay, 10 comma 13. What exactly 10 comma 13 represent? 10 is nothing but a ASCII control code for line feed, whereas 13 is a code for carrying return. So what is line feed control is nothing but it will move the cursor to the next line, whereas carry return code move the cursor to the start of a line. So whenever you're writing any of the string over there, to take the string to the next line, we require uh, line feed control and then carry return control code moves. So these are the two different things where you can define DB is 10 comma 13. 10 is for ASCII control code used for line feed, means what, one by line, one by one. If you're writing a line to it, to go to the next line we require 10, and again to return back to the start of a line we require 13. So DB 10 comma 13, hope it is understood. Then next is PL label byte. What exactly it represent? So it's nothing but a variable. P1 is nothing but a defining of a variable which holds the string which is entered by the user. So what exactly the assembly language program is? You are going to take one input from the user, you are going to reverse that input, and you are going to map the input and output stream to check whether the entered string by the user is palindrome or not. So again, you can see the title of an experiment is nothing but to check whether the entered string is palindrome or not. The same thing is with only assembly language program. Okay, so P1 is nothing but a variable where it holds the string which is entered by the user. Okay, then M1 DB O double FH, then the other one is L1 DB, question mark is nothing but a dynamic memory allocation. P11 is nothing but a variable. DB stands for data byte. Again, this is an hexadecimal value. DUP stands for duplicate, and this dollar sign is used for string input. Okay. To be coded characters and the other value to be holding the messages. So we are using three different categories in here. Entered string means what? Whenever the user is entering the string, you're going to store that string. Okay, then you are going to encrypt that string, and again you're going to decrypt that string to be used by the user. So we are using for this all operation, we are using four different variables, that is P11, message 1, message 2, and message 3. So these are the three different four different variables that you have defined for storing the value for encryption and decryption. Okay, then P1 label byte, M1 dB offset, L1 dB, P11 dB. These lines are nothing but used for declaring array with variable length of user choice. So what exactly is indicate? It means whatever word the user is entering. For example, the user is entering Nayan, Nayan. Okay. So it will count the length of a string, and you are going to allocate that much amount of memory into the memory space into the main memory. Means what? If the string length is 5, your array length will be 5. So hope this is understood. Then M1 is for assigning maximum length of an array. L1 is to get length of the entered string. P11 is used to refer the array in a program. So these are the specific terminology that we are going to use in our program. So while explaining the program, I will be explaining again the same thing so that the concept will be clear. Then macros is nothing but a sub concept where it acts as a subroutine to the procedures. Procedures in the sense, if you want to execute a line of a code or a block of a code, so rather writing it 5 times, you write it one time, and you can call the micro whenever it is required. Okay. So the concept of micro is nothing but it look like procedures. Okay, but they exist only until the code is being compiled. After compilation of all macros are being replaced with real instructions. This is nothing but a temporary variable where you can store the value, performs a certain operations on that, and after performing that operation, you are going to store the values to some original variables. So these are the basic concepts of macros. Now moving further to the program. So this is the basic program. Data segment. Okay, in data segment, you are defining certain things. MSG1 is nothing but a message one where you're allocating a size of data byte. Then 10,30 is to enter a particular string and get back to the starting location of a line. So we require 10,30, which I've already explained. So message one is nothing but enter any string. It will take the input from the user. Message 2 db 10,13 is nothing but whichever message or whichever word you're entered, that is going to be taken in or scanned in. Okay, then again message 3 is nothing but it will calculate the length of a string, or it can be 5 6. Okay, then message 4, no, not the given string is not a palindrome. Message 5 will be the given string is a palindrome. Message 6 you can do reverse of a string. Why? Because we have to check whether it is a palindrome or not. That's why we will also require to reverse a string. Then P1 label byte is again nothing but a variable, okay, where you can store the first value or first string to it. M1 dB is offset of h, that it means what? It is taking the hexadecimal value from M1. L1 dB, again a label, okay, which is of unlimited size. Why it is L1? By because we are taking array of the size which user gives the input. P11 and P22 is nothing but an array. One to store a value in that particular array, and second one is to reverse it. So for the storage requirement, we are defining two different variables. Then your data segment is ending over here. So whenever you are just initializing or declaring certain variables or values to the variables, it should be defined in the data segment. Okay, now we have just written short code for micro. Okay, so whichever value you are taking, display micro, move AH comma 9. Okay, LEA stands for load effective address. So whichever message you are getting from here, you are going to store in DX. Why we are storing this? We do not perform any of the operation directly on memory sets. We work on accumulator or some data segment registers. Okay, so we are moving the value to DS, and it's but in interrupt signal, it is E21H is to interrupt the micro. End M is nothing but end of micro. It's not end of program, it's end of micro. Then moving ahead, declaration of code segment, where you are going to assume CS is your code segment, where DS is your data segment. Okay, start of a program. Okay, this from here your execution of program has been started. So move AX comma data means what? You will go to the data segment, and from the data segment you're going to fetch the value and you're going to place it in AX. Okay, next the value of AX you are moving into DS, that is a data segment. So as I have already told that we do operations on data segments. Then message one, what is message one? Let's enter any string. So yes, we have if user is entering any string, for example user is entering an AYAN, then so character has been entered. Okay, message has been displayed. Then whichever value user is entering, that is taken by the variable, that is p1, and it is loading the value into dx. Okay, then again you are moving 0ah to ah. Okay, this is nothing but you are just called one thing, so there should be an interrupt signal for every message. Then it will display the second message, that is enter string. It will calculate the it will scan the string and you are going to store that string in p11, the variable. Now for calculating the length of a string, you are taking message 3. So the value of L1, that is again a variable, is directly loading with the DL register. You are adding 30H. Why 30H? We are working on ASCII value. So each characters from the string is been converted into the binary number, and again the binary number is converted into the ASCII code. So that's why we are adding 30H to it. Again moving to AH, and again an interrupt signal is been fired to close the length of a string. Okay. Now moving further, yes, to again you have to reverse the particular entered string. Okay, so it is nothing but p11. Why p11? Because your whole entered string is in p11, so that's why p11. You are going to access each and every characters or length of characters with the help of SI and DI, that is source index and destination index. So as you entered NAYAN, NAYAN, so at source index value at 0, you are having N. So you are going to move that into the accumulator, and from accumulator you are going to move that into your destination index. So that's why you are moving each and every element or loading each and every characters from P11 to SI and PT2 to DI. This is nothing but a two different variable. Okay. Okay, then what exactly you're doing in the value of L1, you're moving the value to DL and you're decrementing the counter. Obviously, you will decrement DI so that one by one things has been loaded into the memory. Okay, then you're moving the counter till it becomes 0. CH is nothing but a counter. Okay, then to reverse a string, this is a simple loop. You will access with the help of source index. You are moving to AL, and again AL is been loaded to DI. This way you will simply reverse a string. You will increment the destination address and you will decrement the source address. Okay, then display PT2. Okay, you are going to display the second one, means a reverse string, and again P11 is nothing but your entered string that you're going to load in source index. Again we will load the PT2 into destination index, and again you will run a counter, that is ch comma 0 means what? You are going to reverse each and every characters one by one till the counter becomes 0. Then after replacing, means what, 9 is now become again the same thing. After reversing it will be the same, that is 9. Okay, after reversing you are going to now compare one by one, that is n with n, a with a. For that again you are just checking source index, you are moving the value to AL, and CMP stands for compare operation. You are just comparing the destination address and the accumulator address. Okay, JN, if it is not jump if it is 0. It is not 0, then it's not a palindrome. You are going to increment the source index and destination index, and you are going to check each and every characters one by one. Okay, and display message 5, jump exists. If not, it's not a palindrome, it will display not a palindrome. If it is a palindrome, it will display message 4, that is it's a palindrome. For exit, we have just fired an interrupt signal and an interrupt command so that you can complete your execution. So this way, this is the whole program or explanation of assembly language programming using to by the entered string, whether it is palindrome or not, you have been checked. So these are the program execution. This way you can see the execution. These are the commands. So you can see I have in the first line in the example, enter string is ma'am, M-A-A-M. So entered string again it's ma'am. Length of a string is 5. Reverse is ma'am, but it's not a palindrome. Why? Because there is no middle partition. That is middle character is not this. That's why it's not a palindrome. Again, I have taken a second example that is N-A-Y-N-I-N. So you can see length of a string is 5. After reversing, it's also a 9. So the given string is palindrome. There are two different examples. One where it is a palindrome and second where it is not a palindrome. Hope the concepts are clear. So how we have checked and how the execution of the program has been done. Now practically I'm going to show you the same thing, that how you're going to run a program and how you're going to write a code. So expected thing is nothing but I want aim of an experiment, the code that you're going to type it manually and you're going to store the file in masm 611/bin folder with an extension known as a, okay. So same thing, I'm just showing this file where I have stored. So in the home directory, you will go masm 611/bin. These are the code syntax, and I'm just saving the file name as experiment number 9. You can see that is experiment number 9.asm. The same code I have explained: data segment, initialization of data, ending of data segment, then is the micros, ending of micro, code segment, start of your program. This is a code for reverse, a code for checking whether it's a palindrome or not. Okay, then exit. So same program you have to type it and you have to save with .asm file. Okay, after saving the program, what are the commands? Just open a DOS box. As we are performing experiment on masm and DOSBox, make sure that masm has been installed and it's working. So the command for execution of a program is mount C, then tilt sign is used. Then you have to use C colon to change the directory, CD space. Then again you have to change the path so that you can access your file. So it's masm 611/bin. Okay, after entering to that specific directory, you have to type masm to execute a program or to run a program. So masm, your file name, it is exp9 dot the extension, that is .asm. After assembly, the assembling is done successfully. You have to link the program. So for linking, you have to type a command known as link space your file name, that is exp9 dot. Now we are going to create an object file to it. So obj is a command for creating object files. After entering it, you have to press 4 times enter to run a command. So for running a command, cv is a command, cv space your file name, that is experiment number 9, okay, dot exe for executing a file. So after clicking on this, you can see a successful execution of a program. With Control F10, you can see line by line execution of a program. So this way you can see the cursor and the registers where each and every line by line execution of a code is being executed. Okay. After this, there is a message enter a string. So I'm entering a string. Take an example 9. To check whether it is an palindrome or not, then click on enter. Again, half execution is incomplete, so you will go back and again complete the program execution. Okay. After that, to check the output, this is the whole line of a code. We are incrementing, decrementing the counters. Okay. Okay, so there is a command that is you're going to you have to go in file section. Okay, this one. Okay, you can see in file you have to exit the that is alt F4 is also a keyword. After exit you can see the coding that enter string is 9, then the value, the length of a string has been calculated, and you can see whether the enter string is palindrome or not. And to exit from the terminal, exit is a command to close the DOS box. So this is the whole execution of a program. Hope you have